Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week, to include shorts and, of course, occasional community posts there on the channel. But I want to thank all you guys across New Tech, as well as here on YouTube, for your guys' continued support.
We start things off from CBS News. Trump makes closing argument on final day of New York fraud trial, disregarding judges' restrictions. And here's what's interesting, and not surprising to anyone, is that the establishment and the Democrats and these individuals involved in these trials want to keep Trump from expressing the fact that he is innocent and that all these charges, as you see here in the Trump civil fraud case, there was no evidence to suggest that any of these accusations were true. There was no evidence. There was exaggeration. There was sensationalizing. There was interpretation of law. But what the establishment and the Democrats do is, since they aren't following or aren't concerned about the rule of law or justice, what they're doing is they're trying to create a seriousness of a charge. Because the seriousness of the charge is what's going to get an emotional and psychological reaction from people. So it's not about justice. It's not about going through a trial. It's about generating a idea in people's minds with a seriousness of a charge instead of it folding. And see, they know this. They know that there was nothing here. They know that Trump had not done anything. It's just like the whole Russian collusion nonsense and the way they treated Brett Kavanaugh and all these things. And the frustrating part is that they know what they're doing. They know that they're trying to generate an emotional reaction from people. They want people to have an idea or a concept in their mind that they can solidify with an outrageous charge. Former President Donald Trump disregarded restrictions imposed by the judge overseeing his civil fraud trial in New York and addressed the court during closing arguments on Thursday, raging against the state's attorney general and the judge himself for several minutes on the final day of proceedings. In other words, he was outlining the fact that they had no evidence. He was outlining the fact that they were engaged in, as I said, raising these charges to create a reaction, an emotional reaction, and to, or it could be interpreted, since they can interpret, we can interpret it, that it is election interference. One day before, Judge Arthur Engoron told Trump's attorneys that he would only be allowed to speak if he limited his comments to relevant material facts that are in evidence and application of the relevant law to those facts. His legal team did not agree to the conditions. Yes, because they didn't have any facts. They didn't have anything. All they had were accusations and hearsay, as well as interpretations of law that they were trying to interpret. Now, we're going to go into that in just a second because I'm going to play you the video of Trump's attorney. Of one of Trump's attorneys. Trump attorney Christopher Kise raised the issue again in court, and the judge asked if he would abide by the limits. Trump began speaking, and Engoron allowed him to continue. Because, see, as we have talked about all this time, even going back to 2016 and during Trump's administration, they have to silence people they disagree with. The reason they have to silence people is because Trump may say something, his supporters may say something, or any common sense thinking cogent person may say something that exposes them, the establishment, the left and Democrats, as being wrong about what they're presenting. Because, like I said, if they had genuine evidence, if they had genuine material to produce, then they would have an argument. But sadly, they don't. And the sad part is they know it. They know they don't have anything because it's about the seriousness of the charge. It's about getting that reaction. Seated at the defense table and wearing a blue suit and red tie, the former president criticized New York Attorney General Letitia James and defended his business practices, saying he did nothing wrong and that the state should pay me for what we had to go through. Exactly. It's absolutely absurd. And let's go ahead and listen to what she says. It's going to be a little echoey because of the room. Actually, let me go back here and pop it open here. Here we go. It's going to be a little echoey because of the room.
Let's remember that before I walked into court, we had already lost. That was clear with his motion for summary judgment. Before witnesses, before experts, And do I think any of it mattered? I certainly hope so. But for anybody that was in the courtroom for the last 11 weeks, you heard that there was not one fact against President Trump. There was not one piece of paper that showed anyone committed fraud. And don't forget that Section 6312, a consumer fraud statute, has been wrongfully used against my client, innocent defendants, the organization, and every employee of the Trump Organization, which has single-handedly changed the New York skyline, including the building we are in today. These are special properties. Real estate is an art, not a science. But you know what else is an art? You know what else isn't a science? Political motivated individuals. She's using this to paint a canvas that Donald Trump is a fraudster because they can't beat him in the polls. They can't beat him in the polls, so she ran on Trump because that was the only way she could win. And now, today, after 11 weeks, after 3 years, we have concluded that he indeed committed no wrong. The Trump Organization committed no wrong, and the kids have been dragged in just like the other defendants, and it is wrong. America needs to step up, and there's only one person who can do that. My client, Donald Trump. President Trump, everybody.
And there you have it. I mean, it's that simple. It's just that simple. And the sad part is the hatred towards Donald Trump is so intense. And the media and the establishment and the Democrats have to perpetuate that anger. They have to perpetuate that hate towards Trump. Because if he's given opportunities like this to have a platform where he can speak, where he can explain himself, which he shouldn't have to, like his attorney said here, they're trying to create an environment for people in America to believe that Donald Trump is a fraud, that he is some type of criminal, one-dimensional villain, as I often say. And so you guys know this because you've been here watching the channel all this time, and this just continues to reinforce what we've always said. And people who obviously support Trump, they're always trying to turn everyone who supports Trump and or Trump into a villain, and it's absolutely absurd. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments, because I know there's people out there that may not be so interested in politics that you may know. And what is their thoughts? What are their reactions? What are they concerned about? Or if they're concerned at all. But the point being, because people don't stay on top of these things, like you guys who follow me here on the channel, as well as New Tech, because you guys make the effort to try to look into these things. You guys make the effort to try to understand what's happening. And I look into it as well, even when I'm arguing with people on the left or anyone else. I always try to consider their position, see where it's coming from, see where they're generating this idea that they have. I want to know about it. And then I look at it and I say, okay, well, here's what I think about it, or here's information that may contradict what you're saying, or information that you may not be aware of that is available for you, and apparently you didn't know because people that on your side didn't want you to know. And that's a typical type exchange that I have. And usually what I find is the individuals just get mad and start insulting me and start being condescending, start being, instigate and everything else, because they really don't have an argument. I mean, the idea, as I said yesterday on Twitter, is, all the Democrats have to offer is orange man bad, vote blue, right? The rest of us in the country, whether it's moderates or independents or Green Party, conservatives, Republicans, or even the far right, they want reasons why. They want reasons from the candidate why we should vote for them. But when it comes to the Democrats, it's vote blue. That's it. They just tell the unions, vote blue, vote this, vote that. They're just told how to vote. Instead of them asking questions, instead of them taking the time to invest, now granted, the Democrats do put things out there that usually are more towards a select group of people, individualized groups of people versus the entirety of America. They may do things for them, but we're a country of Americans. Everyone should benefit from anything that's being introduced. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I have for you this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to, where you can follow me and see my day-to-day posts, as well as if you are an Amazon Prime member or order frequently from Amazon, I have my links below this video. You guys can use that landing page to place your orders, and it does help out the channel, and it is greatly appreciated. And of course, there's always a super thanks there on the right side of the screen, just below the video. I think it's next to the likes and the share. So you guys want to take advantage of that. We've had some people do that. So thank you to all of you who have donated through Super Thanks. I appreciate all that support. And of course, appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon for you guys watching on YouTube. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys behind the camera next week.